Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Your Arms to Israel Video Club. We're so glad you're here and able to join us this week. You, your family, your loved ones, we've been waiting for you. Come on into our Broward County studio here in beautiful Fort Lauderdale, Florida, home of Your Arms to Israel Video Ministries. Before we go right into today's Shabbat service, I want to share with you a couple of things from the Word of Yahweh. In Yoseph, what else is there to share? And that's the core of what we do here at Your Arms to Israel. Ezekiel 37, and we see here in verse number 15 of Yoseph 37, the word of Yahweh came to me saying, Moreover, Ben Adam, take one piece of wood and write upon it for Yehudah and the children of Israel his friends. Take another piece of wood and write upon it for Yoseph, the piece of wood of Ephraim, and for all big Israel his friends, and join them one to another into one piece of wood, and they shall be echad. See, now listen, they shall be echad in your hand. See, that's why we do what we do here in the Your Arms to Israel Shabbat Video Club, to teach you how to take the stick of Yoseph and the stick of Yehudah and to bring them together and make them one in your hand. Now, when you obey Yahweh's word and when you obey Yahweh's voice and your calling and ministry is lined up to do what he's called you to do, as we do here in the Miami Beach Israel Revival, watch what happens. In verse 18 of Ezekiel 37, when the children of your people, your children, your neighbors, and the children of Israel scattered abroad, who are today Baptists, Methodists, Presbyterians, and the fullness of the Gentiles in all the nations, when they come to you, and they're going to all come with more or less the same question. When the children of your people speak to you, saying, Will you not show us what you mean by these? What are these two sticks, two houses? You see behind me the two houses of Israel, those two sticks and the Star of David. What is all this two-house shtick? I had one rabbi say to me, what's this two-house shtick all about? Trying to be a little bit humorous, calling it the two sticks instead of the two sticks. So when you take the two in your hand, meaning in your heart, in your doctrine, in your life, in your understanding, in your outlook, in your vision, when you live the truth of the scriptures from Genesis to Revelation, that it is the marriage, the scattering, and the regathering of both houses and the restoration of both houses of Israel, people will ask you, what is these two sticks here in your hand? And when, not if, but when they ask you, you shall speak to them and show them and say, verse 19 of Ezekiel 37, This says the Master Yahweh, See, I will take the piece of wood of Yoseph in the hand of Ephraim and the tribes of Israel, his companions, of the 10 tribes of the north, and put them with the one piece of wood of Yehudah, and make these two pieces into one piece of wood, and they will be one in my hand. But notice the chronology. First, Yahweh waits for us to understand him. Then, when we send the call to the nations, ultimately, how he brings both houses fully together with Yeshua as king and Torah as our constitution, and how he gets all these hundreds of millions of born-again, returning Israelites back to the promised land, that's his business. Your business is to first make sure you take these two sticks and make them one in your hands. And that's why you have subscribed to the Your Arms to Israel Shabbat Video Club. Every week we'll come into your home or your place of business, whatever, and it better not be on a Shabbat if you know what I mean, and we will teach you how to make these two sticks one in your hand, so that when you go to the children of your people, they'll want to know more about Yahweh's plan, and Yahweh says, you share the plan, but ultimately, I'll be the one making these two sticks one in my hand. So right now, let's go right into the Miami Beach Israel Revival, into today's exciting service for a little praise, and right after that, grab your scriptures, grab your Restoration Scriptures, True Name Edition, and let's go right into today's Shabbat service at the Miami Beach Israel Revival. Shalom.
Tambourine and dance, praise him with cymbals of rejoicing, praise him with cymbals of rejoicing, let everything that has been, hallelujah, Yahweh, let everything that has been, hallelujah, Yahweh, hallelujah, Yahweh. With a wave offering. Ose shalom bimrama, uyase shalom aleinu, yalkol Yisrael, vehimolu avi. Ose shalom bimrama, uyase shalom aleinu, yalkol Yisrael, vehimolu Shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom, Ya'aseh Israel, Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom, Ya'aseh Israel, Ose shalom. Say shalom, Shalom, everybody. בשם ישוע ושיקה לפרק ישראל, אוי שלום עטרת לילה, גם בשמחה וצרה, צוגר מונע בגאולה, אוי קלה בואי גהלה, אהובי נגרעת קלה, שאלה, נשמה, נקרא אהובי נגרעת קלה, Shalom, Hashem Yeshua, Michigan, Melech Israel.
Well, it's amazing how the Ruach HaKodesh is coordinating this whole thing. A little bit more bass on him, because in that dance, we were hearing the themes of drinking and outpouring, and today's message is all about drinking. It's about the drinking of Pesach. So next, Yom Rishon, we are getting ready to celebrate the Pesach. And I'll tell you what, I'm ready. How about you? It's all about a celebration. Celebration. How is Yehuda going to make Ephraim jealous? By celebrating. Not by being more Jewish than the Jews, but by celebrating. When Yehuda sees you celebrating and not mourning, they're going to realize that Ephraim is back, that Ephraim has returned. Amen?
Amen.
Rain out, rejoice.
Yes.
So I'll be preaching for about 4 hours today, a message that I've entitled Yoseph and the 4 cups of wine. Yoseph and the 4 cups of wine. In next week's Pesach, when we sit down at the table of brotherhood and community, we will notice that the central part of the Pesach centers around not only the lamb, which of course is the blood of Yeshua, but also around 4 cups of yayin, wine. And in the traditional Passover Seder, Seder means what? Order of service. And we read about the order of service in the Haggadah, which is the telling of the order over and over again until we get it straight. We encounter 4 I wills. 4 I wills. In an attempt to reassure and encourage Moshe Rabbeinu, who was getting discouraged by the fact that his ministry was producing 0 results. How many know it can get discouraging serving Yahweh sometimes, when our work and our ministry sometimes doesn't produce the results that we wanted to produce in Yahweh. Right? So in an attempt to encourage Moshe Rabbeinu, Yahweh visits him with what's known as the 4 I wills. The 4 I will. Let me give that to you in the Hebrew. Ve'hotzeti, I will remove you from the burdens of Mitzrayim. Vehitzalti, I will save you from their bondage. Ve'ga'alti, I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and with great judgment. Ve'lakachti, and I will take you to be my people, and I will be your Elohim. Thus, the 4 cups of the traditional Pesach represent 4 comforting expressions, listen, of Yahweh toward those who He is redeeming. And that, of course, is our people, our forefathers, Yisroel. Now, so we encounter first 4 cups of Pesach. Each cup represents one of the I will. I will, I will, I will, I will. And they all center around some aspect of redemption and what Yahweh is going to do for us, to us, and upon us. Amen, somebody.
Amen.
Amen. But more than that, we're going to encounter so many dimensions today that are just going to blow your mind. We're also going to encounter not just the 4 I wills of Pesach, but the 4 thy wills of Pesach. The 4 I wills leading to the 4 thy wills. Now, but before we get to the 4 thy wills, why do we have 4 cups of wine at the Passover Seder? Why do we have 4 cups? The 4 I wills. But more than that, on the remez, or the hint application, there was a man who was actually the forefather of many of you Ephraimites. And his name was Yoseph. And Yoseph also encountered 4 cups of wine. There were the 4 cups of Yoseph, and later the 4 cups of the comforting of redemption. But where do we get this account of 4 cups? We get this, according to our understanding, from the 4 times cups are mentioned in the dream that Yoseph reveals to the butler of Pharaoh, Pharaoh's butler, in prison. The cup is mentioned 4 times. Let's go, please, with me to Bereshit, chapter 40, verse 9. I see Daryl is already smiling, so he's realizing he's going to get a powerful word today. Bereshit 40 and verse number 9. And the chief butler in prison told his dream, notice, his dream, to Yosef, and said to him, in my dream you see a vine was before me, and in the vine were 3 branches, and it was though it had budded, and the blossom shot out, and the clusters of it brought out ripe grapes. And Pharaoh's cup, circle that word, Pharaoh's cup was in my hand. Who's speaking here? This is the butler speaking. Pharaoh's cup is in my hand. I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup, circle that word again, cup. And I gave the cup, circle that word again, into Pharaoh's hands. So we have so far how many cups?
3.
Thank you. Verse 12. And Yosef said to him, this is the interpretation of your dream. The 3 branches are 3 days. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift up your head, O butler, and restore you to, circle that word, restore. So these 4 cups have a lot to do with the restoration of this man to his job as Pharaoh's butler. Amen? The 4 cups of redemption and restoration. He will be redeemed like in the past when he was Pharaoh's butler. Let's continue. Verse number 12. Yosef said to him, this is the representation. 3 branches are 3 days. Within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up your head, restore you to your place, and will deliver Pharaoh's cup, there's the 4th reference to cup, into his hand, like in the past when you were his butler. Why do we drink the 4 cups of wine at the Pesach? Because usually the explanation is the 4 phases of Yahweh's redemption found to Moshe that we just read after receiving rejection from Pharaoh. Amen? But it is not just the 4 promises of Yahweh regarding redemption. It represents something else, and they also represent the 4 cups of Yosef. So when we celebrate Pesach, when? Next Yom Rishon, we will remember number 1, I will, I will, I will, the 4 I wills of Yahweh that lead into the redemption and the exodus of the children of Yisrael. Amen? But on the remez, or the non-literal pashat, the hint level, Yahweh is talking about the 4 cups of Yosef. What 4 cups? The 4 cups he saw in the dream that he interprets for this butler. Actually, that he interprets for the butler. What do these cups have to do with? They have to do with restoration, and they have to do with the restoration of the butler to his position serving the king. Did you get that? So Yosef is interpreting this man's dream so that the butler can be restored in service to the king. The rabbis, our sages, call that the 4 cups of Yosef. Amen. So Yahweh said, I will what? I will save you, I will redeem you, I will remove you from the burdens, and I will take you as my people, and I will be your Elohim. So the 4 cups are the Yahweh's 4 I will. The 4 cups are also Yosef's 4 cups. Now I want to go to, how many plan on drinking those 4 cups on Pesach? Right? Well, I want you to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. Fair enough? That's not something, that's something tov to be desired. To understand why you're doing what you're doing. Many Ephraimites return to Israel and they go, well, Those 4 cups are just some Jewish thing, and we just gotta kind of blend in with the Jews, so we might as well not insult them, and we might as well not offend them, so just drink and be quiet. You don't offend the rabbi, he went through a lot of work to prepare the Seder. Just drink and shut up. You'll get drunk, you won't know how many you had anyway. Oh man, that's not where it's at. You are celebrating the 4 redemptive declarations of Yahweh to Israel. But if you're an Ephraimite, you're doing more than that. You're celebrating the understanding Yahweh gave Yoseph to restore a man to service in his service to the king. But before I get to the deeper part of today's teaching, we have 4 I will, followed by Joseph's 4 cups. And now I want you to go to Matityahu, chapter 26. Now I want you to focus in why you're going to be drinking 4 cups, Abraham. How many are you going to be drinking?
4.
You sure now?
Yeah.
We don't want you to get out of sequence. Matityahu, chapter 26. Matthew, chapter 26. And let's pick it up in verse 39. Yeshua in the Garden of Gethsemane on the night of Pesach. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. This was his Pesach, his last Pesach with his Talmidim. Matityahu 26:39. Yeshua went a little further and fell on his face in the Garden of Gethsemane, good, and made tefillah, saying, "O my Abba, if it is possible, let this cup," circle that word cup. "Let this cup pass from me," the cup of what? Suffering for redemption. Israel had 4 cups. We remember how we suffered unto redemption. We remember how we suffered before we were redeemed. So these cups are a token of Yahweh's mighty, strong, outstretched arm upon those who were in bondage. Amen, somebody.
Amen.
So we see here in verse 39, let this cup pass from me. Just like our people, our forefathers, wanted the cup of slavery to pass from them. Verse 40. He came to the Talmidim and found them asleep. Now why do you think they were sleeping? Because they had had 4 cups of wine. You might get 1 dude tired or 2 dudes tired, but you don't get all 11 tired unless they had some serious ripple. And I'm not talking about the kind that Fred Sanford drinks. I'm talking about the kind that grows in Israel. The vine, honey, as in wine. Don't tell me you're coming to the feast with grape juice. Don't tell me that. That may fly in some sacred name churches, but in case you hadn't noticed, we're not a sacred name church. We are practicing Israelites. We're practicing. We're rehearsing. We are planning the coming of the King. So we will be drinking some seriously fermented wine. Baruch Hashem. Now let's continue. Because what happened to the Talmidim? They were all drunk. So they had an early bedtime. So Yeshua said, sarcastically, rhetorically, what could you, he said to the Talmidim, he found them all sleeping. He said to Kifa, what? Could you not watch with me even 1 hour? What do you find it? He woke him up, that's what he did. Kifa, couldn't you watch with me 1 hour? Watch and make tefillah, so that you enter not into temptation, because the human ruach indeed is willing, but the human flesh is weak. The ruach is willing to serve Yahweh, but look at your flesh. It's sleeping on Yahweh in his most desperate, dire time and need. Amen?
Amen.
He went again the second time, verse 42, circle that, the second time, and made tefillah, saying, "Oh my